And so the key is to begin catching yourself in the middle of those things and then having fun by saying, I'm doing it now. This is the reason. This is the answer. This is why it's not happening for me in the way I want it to. This reason right here, right now. This thing I'm doing right now. That's the reason. Okay. So ramble a little bit and let's see if we can catch you in the act.
Well, I'm probably going to give you many opportunities.
There was one.
Thank you. How may I raise my awareness where I can be more cognizant of when I'm doing it?
By looking for it. In other words, that's why we're amplifying it in this way. Okay. This is the reason we're saying there's 3 things. You ask, universe yields. If it's not happening, you're doing that thing. Start watching for that thing you're doing that's keeping you from being locked on. Negative emotion is always present. If negative emotion is present, you're doing that thing. If you ever have negative emotion, little or big, you're doing that thing. You're doing that thing that's keeping you locked off your signal. You are not in the receiving mode. What you want can't come while you do that thing. So it's negative emotion is always present. But the thing we want you to begin doing here is being playful about it. In other words, because before, Esther and others were saying, I'm doing that thing. I'm doing that thing. I'm not getting it. I'm still doing it. And then they just kept doing it. In other words, catching yourself in the middle of negative emotion and then condemning yourself for being in the middle of negative emotion. And so we want you to be playful about it. We want you to be joyful that you have guidance that is showing you. It's that thing, it's that thing, it's that thing, it's that thing. It's that memory, it's that story you've been telling, it's that way you've been approaching this, it's that television program you watch. You can get hooked on television programs, and the reason you're drawn to them is because they're playing your issues. That's why you like them. They feel familiar to you, you see. So you watch them. Have you ever felt pretty good, turn on a television program, and when it's over, you're mad at your mate? Something on that show reminded me of something you used to do. So ramble a little bit about what you want, or about anything.
Well, I'm wanting more freedom to make, what all of us are wanting, I think, the freedom to make the choices that make us feel better about ourselves. And
talk to us about dollars.
Dollars. I spend too many. I love it.
Oh,
really?
Mean,
I love it.
Now, what about this? I spend too many. Was that locked off or on?
That was off.
You tried to cover, but we weren't buying it.
Okay. Thank you.
I spend too many, and I love it.
Yeah.
And so
I want to make as many as I spend.
Well, now, here's the thing that we're wanting you to realize. We could sit here for an hour or two together.
Go back and forth.
And we can show you locked off, locked on, locked off, locked on. And in that process, you'll catch on to us, and you'll start saying the right words. Mm-hmm. But we won't accomplish much in this short period of time. It'll take you a week or a month or so to catch yourself in the middle of the statement and then to reach by stepping back into a more general place for something that locks you on. In other words, when you said, I spend too many, we think that that is undoubtedly a fact of your now experience. Mm-hmm. I'm spending more than is coming in, and I've got myself out of balance, and I'm a responsible person, and this does not feel good to me. Mm-hmm. And I'm frustrated because I can't figure out how to do more to get more. I can't figure out how to easily spend less. In other words, I'm sort of stuck in this place, and I'm not happy where I am. Now, there are maybe thousands of statements or acknowledgments that you make in any one day that compound all of those feelings, that just keep amplifying that. So at first, reaching for feelings or thoughts around that subject that lock you on are going to feel a little false to you at first. Mm-hmm. But if you step into more general place, they don't feel so false. In other words, you can say something like, well, I'm good at many things, which is a locking on statement. Mm-hmm. And I have been in worse places before and brought myself into better places. And I know that I am making progress relative to deliberate creation. And I am aware of the way I feel. My guidance system is working within me. And I'm excited about this I'm doing it now game that Abraham is giving me, because I can catch myself in the act of locking off. Now, all of that was more general not specific to your subject, but it was all locked on statements around the subject. So you are in a better place than you were before. And now just with that little bit of effort, next time you say, I'm spending too much money, you'll stop in the middle of that statement and you'll laugh and you'll say, I'm doing it now. And then play with it. Well, what's too much money? Is too much money spending more than my mother would spend? Or is too much money spending more than I've got to spend? What's too much money? Well, too much money is more than is comfortable for me to spend. Oh, I'm spending too much because I'm spending more than I'm comfortable in spending. Well, I know what to do about that. I can bring myself into balance and spend more what's comfortable. You see what we're getting at? It's really not about the spending of the money. It's about what you're doing in your mind about how you're thinking about the spending of the money. If you feel like you don't have enough money, even though you're asking for more and the universe is lining up all kinds of ways to yield more to you, if you feel like you don't have enough money, you can't let enough money in. You've got to change that feeling place. And that's why we were saying you have to begin to love you where you are. If you say, I'm spending too much money, I should be more responsible. I've heard that all my life. I'm too greedy, or I'm too selfish, or I'm too... We're laying more on you than
well,
than
and I'm a banker, so working with people and their money is just a constant. It's a very emotional issue.
There's
for
more
many.
Judgment within you about that, isn't it?
Yes.
Because it's easy to see them as out of balance or irresponsible. So you're wanting to come to this place where you are no longer condemning where you are relative to money. You've got to be in the receiving mode. Now think about it. We're going to see if we can amplify this in a way that will be really clear to you. Point one, you're asking. So you're banging around, you're saying, universe, more money, please. And the universe is saying, anything you say. How about through this avenue? How about through this one? How about through this one? How about through this one? The universe is yielding abundance to you. Money abundance to you. And you're standing in this sort of shriveled up place of inappropriateness because you spend too much money. So you're saying, more money, please. I spend too much. More money, please. I spend too much. More money, please. I spend too much. So the money that's flowing to you is just sort of bouncing off you and around you and not coming to you. And what we want to demonstrate is a relaxing and receiving and receiving. Now, you can't receive this money that you're asking for while you're mad at yourself for not having enough money. You have to get over being mad at yourself. You have to say things like, I'm doing all right. I'm doing the best that I can do under the current circumstances. I'm getting better and better at it. In the same way that if someone gives you a compliment and you sort of we watched Jerry and Elsie, Lovable Cat. Jerry will say, oh, you are such a beautiful beast. And Elsie says, I know. She knows she is magnificent, and she knows that he knows it. And she loves that he knows it, and she receives the compliment fully. She just bees who she is, and she will take all that he will flow to her as he adores her, you see. And we want you to be more like Elsie. We want you to open and receive all of this well-being that you've been asking for, that you deserve, that the universe is yielding to you. You just have to soften. You have to break that shell that you've picked up, that I should be doing better, I should have done better, that self-judgment, condemnation that you've picked up from others. In other words, no longer is that serving you. It never has. It's time to just let it go. So when someone offers to open the door, thanks. When someone compliments you, oh, thank you. And you'll have to practice it at first. And so then, in answer to your question, you will be more sensitive to the way you're feeling. You'll catch yourself not in the receiving mode. And when you do, stop and laugh about it. Oh yeah, here's one. Here's one I've practiced. You have these sayings that you've picked up. Esther's father said for years that he and Esther's mother together made one really good person. And what he meant was body part-wise. If they shook them down and threw out the broken parts, that together they'd almost be a really good person. And he said it for years and years and years, kidding about it, sort of, but meaning it sort of. Now as Esther thinks back, she realizes that through much of those comments, he was not in the receiving mode. In other words, it was a moment when he was feeling a little stiff, or it was in a moment when he was feeling a little discomfort. It was in a moment when his desire for a better feeling body was being amplified, and in that moment, he made his funny remark, which was a statement of how it is, which made it impossible for his desire to be satisfied in that moment. And we think there are all kinds of things that you all say and do in your effort to be funny, mostly in your effort to justify or explain where you are. And at the heart of almost every bit of that is this belief. You pick it up from each other, you practice it. It is an erroneous, inaccurate belief, but it goes like this. I have to pay a price for my success. So there is struggle involved in success. And every bit of struggle is not the receiving mode. Every bit of it, you say. So, as people say, what are you doing about improving your health? Or what are you doing about improving your dollars? Or what are you doing? You say, nothing. What do you mean, nothing? You're not making any effort now. As you sit on the other side of the desk, you might be trying to counsel people into some sort of behavior. Well, what are you going to do about this? Well, the answer is nothing. You cannot earn what is natural. You could not get into a mode of justifying the well-being. You can't possibly get into that mode because no justification is required or necessary, and every time you try, you're locked off your signal. Every time you try to explain why you deserve something, you're locked off your signal mode. You have to get into that place of understanding that you ask and the universe yields. You ask and the universe yields. We're going to say this 1,000 times today. You ask and the universe yields. You cannot possibly become more deserving than you are. But you can become more allowing. You can lock onto the receiving mode. But in order to do that, you have to get rid of the feeling that you must struggle or earn your way to success. Look around at the world. Start taking your own polls and notice how much well-being is flowing to those who by world standards are undeserving. Hasn't it always annoyed you how things flowed to those that weren't working nearly as hard as you were? Didn't it just irritate the life out of you? Oh, that's good. Those are good words. It does. It irritates the life out of you. It scares the life out of you. It pinches the life out of you. Hasn't it irritated you as you have noticed that so many who offered what seemed to be so little effort were the receivers of so much, while so many that were working so hard were not receiving? And we say it is because they had forgotten the basics. Asking is enough. You ask, the universe yields. You must receive. And you receive by loving me, by knowing that I'm good, by knowing that me in my physical body, I deserve well-being. I deserve the perfect good feeling body. I deserve vitality. I deserve clarity. I deserve a feeling of ease. Now, when we use the word deserve, we can feel a stirring up stuff in you, because deserve and earn all kind of fall in the same category. So let's see if we can find a softer way. The implication is, if you deserve it, you might do something that doesn't deserve it. And it isn't about deserving, it's about locking onto the signal. It's about choosing. It's about choosing what feels good as opposed to choosing what feels bad, you see. At the heart of all of that is that self-love. People talk about worthiness or unworthiness all the time, so much so that you're sort of numb when you use the words. We're trying to get at the heart of this receiving, because the purest of receiving is certainly self-adoration. It is an absence of self-recrimination or self-judgment or self-condemnation. Here is all your power in this moment. What you have done before has nothing to do with your receiving mode. What you will do in the future has nothing to do with your receiving mode. You've been asking, so there's a whole lot coming to you. So right now, your only work is to get into the receiving mode, which means nothing is more important than that you feel good, which means the music you choose should please you, which means the food you eat should please you, which means the clothes you wear should please you, which means the thoughts you choose should please you, which means you're wanting to be sensitive to the way you feel, locked on, locked off, locked on, locked off. So now, Having said all of that, just ramble. Don't try to guard your words at all. Just ramble with us relative to the subject of dollars. And we're going to playfully demonstrate locked off, locked on, locked off, locked on, locked off, locked on, until we give you the sort of attitude that we want you to have about your normal day-to-day thoughts. You don't have thoughts that are terrible thoughts. You just have little thoughts that little by little hold yourself out of the receiving mode. We're going to show you what to do about that. It's so soft and simple and easy. In 30 days, you can be the owners of all of those things, conditions, relationships, experiences that you've been reaching for.